Thank you all for coming out. And we have Larissa here. She is going to teach us all about social media analytics, how to understand those numbers on your account. And I'm going to be sitting front row because I love to learn and take tips. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Larissa so that she can teach us all about these numbers.
Thank you, Jansen. Hey everyone, so my name is Larissa. As Jansen said, I am the founder of Joya. We're a digital marketing agency that works exclusively with the jewelry industry. I have a podcast and a YouTube channel called the Joya Podcast, and Jansen over there was a guest too. We talked about TikTok, if you're curious about that. But today I'm going to talk about analytics, which yawn. Let's all go to sleep. This sounds so boring, right? I'll try to make it interesting. It can be kind of a boring topic, and I think that's why people avoid it and are kind of afraid of it if you're not like a data-minded person. So let me kind of get a sense of where you guys are in the industry. How many of you here are retailers? Oh, they're all right here. How many of you, I guess, are like direct-to-consumer brands or designers? Few. And manufacturers, marketers. Oh, I love it. We got a good cross-section here. Okay. So why is analytics so important? Let's think about, would you ever get in a car without any destination in mind, without knowing where you were going to get gas, without having any understanding of where you were going? That's kind of like doing social media marketing without analytics. You just start driving and you hope you make it somewhere, right? And we know that marketing is really tough these days. Digital marketing can be a huge expense for a business. So you want to make sure that you're doing it efficiently and in a data-driven way. And that is why analytics are really so important. So what does this actually mean? It's the process of collecting data related to your social media channels, checking in with that data regularly, interpreting it, and then making changes and progress based on what you find from that data. And that's why the days of, social media marketing, let's just hire a 23-year-old who's kind of creative and hope they do a good job, that is not how social media works today. You really need to do it with a strategic mindset. You need to be paying attention to the numbers. You need to be creating content based on what resonates with your audience, based on what that data tells you. Otherwise, you're just going to be driving in a car, nowhere to go, and wondering, why isn't Instagram performing for us? Why isn't TikTok performing for us? So that's why this is so important. So analytics all comes down to data. Where the heck do you find this data? There's a number of places you can find social media data. It really depends which platforms you're using. So let's see, how many of you here really prioritize Instagram for your business? That's kind of what I was thinking. And then how about like TikTok, let's say? More Insta. Okay, well that's good because I'm focusing on Instagram for today. And how about like Pinterest? Okay, so there are tons of social media platforms. I just scratched the surface with those three right there. And each one of those platforms has their own like dashboard for data and analytics. So some options for you would be Meta Business Suite, which is Facebook and Instagram. That's where you would find analytics related to both platforms. On the Instagram app, you have Instagram's Insights. And then the other platforms like Pinterest and TikTok, they all have their own analytics as well. And you may be surprised to learn Google Analytics, which would be connected to your website. You can get a lot of data about social media from there also, related to like how people are coming to your website from social media. So I never want to discount Google Analytics as a source of social media data. So we all know, most of you said you focus on Instagram for your business. Probably all of you at some point have been frustrated in the past 2-3 years about the algorithm, right? You're probably seeing like declining engagement, declining reach, wondering, well, what we haven't really done anything differently. We don't know why this is happening to us. Should we be spending more money on ads? What's the deal? And analytics really helps you be more proactive in this changing landscape that we're all just seeing. I can guarantee if I like pulled numbers from every single one of your Instagram accounts, there would be some kind of downward trend in the numbers over the past couple of years. It's just a reality. But being in touch with that, knowing your numbers, kind of like knowing your benchmark, where you've been and where you want to go, even though we're kind of fighting against the current here with Instagram, I think there are still things we can do to really resonate with our target audience. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to how you're performing on platforms like Instagram. Also, if you're a newer business, or if you're a business that perhaps is going through like some evolution with your brand, or maybe you're trying to get back in touch with who your target audience is, paying attention to this data can really help you understand, well, who are the people looking at my content? What resonates with them? Where in the world do they live? What age groups do they represent? And then really help you get back in touch with your target audience, so that again, you're not just guessing at what kind of content to create for them, but actually make stuff that will delight them, will entertain them, will get them excited about your brand. Okay, so let's talk about, I want to cover just 5 key metrics that apply to any kind of social media platform. So I'm going to be showing you on my phone Instagram, but all of the metrics that I'm going to talk about are relevant to all social media platforms. So since most of you use Instagram, one of the easiest ways to find the data, besides Meta Business Suite, which is really hard to share on a phone and really complex, is just within the Instagram app. So I'm showing you my business profile here. In the top right corner, you see there's like, they call it a hamburger. Those are the 3 lines at the top. When you click that, you're able to see insights. So I'm going to be referencing this screen once I walk through these 5 key metrics. The one, if you were only to track one metric for your social media, I'm going to have you guys guess what that is. If I just had one magic metric that I want to track, what would it be? Who can guess? Engagement? Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. I should have brought a prize. I don't have a prize. Engagement to me, to most marketers, to this lady right here, is, I think, the most important metric. So what is engagement? Engagement refers to, again, this is not specific to Instagram, but it's relevant to any social media platform, how much people are engaging with your content. So that refers to likes, clicks, shares, comments, saves, anything that requires someone to do more than just scroll past your post is considered an engagement. So you can look at that either by total engagements, which is like the total number of all these things added up, or you can look at something like engagement rate, which is very commonly reviewed in Instagram metrics. And that's the percentage of people who saw your post that took some kind of action, like they liked it, they commented, they shared, they saved. So why is engagement rate so important? It's not a vanity metric. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before. Vanity metric is like just a number that makes you feel good, right? You're like, oh, I got 10 more followers or whatever. And you get an ego boost from that because you have more people following you. But what if those people never like, comment or share or buy? Who cares like how many followers you have? So you want to look at metrics that actually have an impact on your business and on your goals. And engagement rate is probably the best way to gauge something like that. So let's get you familiar with the insights. You can adjust the time period that you're looking at in the Instagram insights. If you're just getting started with social media analytics, I'd recommend you kind of set up a schedule to do this monthly. Me personally, I like to look at the end of every month. And it just so happens we just started a new month. So that's a good time to kind of look at the previous month. And the downside to Meta Business Suite and Instagram Insights is they only give you data back 90 days, which is a very, very small amount of time. Another reason why this analytics is so important, if you truly want to understand how social media marketing is having an impact on your business and you keep putting it off, you say, I'll deal with this next week, I'll deal with this next year, whatever. You keep losing that data that you don't have access to because Instagram and Facebook are only storing 90 days worth of it. So it's super important to, even if you don't do anything with this data or look at it yet, I would encourage you to kind of start getting comfortable with the numbers and keeping a record of them somewhere, whether it's in a spreadsheet or a Google Doc or wherever. You can write it in a notebook, I don't care. But you want to make sure you have that data, because doing it only like now and then rarely checking in with it is not going to give you a good idea of how you're performing on social media. So I adjusted it here to show us May. And on the overview page, it's decided to show us accounts reached, which I'll talk about in just a second, accounts engaged, engagement, that's what we were just talking about, total followers, and then it just gives me an overview of like the types of content that I shared in May. So when I tap on accounts engaged, this is where I start to get an idea of my engagement, which, as I just said, to me is the most important metric. The one thing that's super nice about this is it's comparing it month over month to April. So it's telling me that in May, I engaged 192 accounts. Not very impressive, but hey, it is what it is. And but I was down 29% versus the month of April. And then it breaks it down here between how many of those 192 people were people that actually follow me versus people who don't actually follow me. So, okay, great. We have some numbers here. Who cares? What does that actually mean? And what does looking at that help me understand about my marketing and my business? We have to get a little bit curious about this stuff. And yeah, of course, you need to be data minded about this. That's where the numbers come in. But we also want to be kind of like detectives and ask questions. And that's where the more like intuitive, curious side of marketing comes in. So if I was interpreting my social media data and I kind of wanted to know, all right, well in May, I was down 29% in engagements. What am I supposed to do in June to make sure that number goes back or that I can improve that? You kind of have to reflect on the types of content that you posted that month. Like, was there a change in the type of content you posted? Was there a change in the frequency? A lot of times engagement has to do also with the way you're inviting people to engage with you also. So this is why captions, for example, are so important. I think captions on Instagram are very, very overlooked. People are like, oh, nobody reads captions. Who cares? I'm just going to put the word like sparkle with a little glitter emoji and I'm good. No. If you want to work on improving engagement, it's really about inviting people to interact with you, because now we're just scrolling, we're not thinking about anything. But if you stop and see a cool picture or video and there's also a great caption that's like, hey, I just made these new earrings and I'm thinking about releasing them in a different gemstone color. What do you think? What would you like to see? And really like inviting people to interact back with you. You would be surprised how just asking a question or inviting someone to do something will make a huge difference in your engagements. So that's something I would think about potentially implementing. I know personally, I know right away why my engagements were down. I was on vacation in May. I took an Instagram break. I wasn't posting as regularly, and I can see how that directly impacts my numbers. So there's usually like clues or educated guesses that you can make about changes and then shift and adjust moving forward. And then going down this engagements overview in Instagram, you'll see a breakdown of how that translates to reels, how that translates to posts, and how that translates to stories, as well as like which cities people are engaging from, countries, age ranges. And those insights can really help you understand, like, okay, who am I actually talking to here? Who am I trying to make content for? As you can see, my reels got the most engagements. And you probably know from like Instagram best practices that video is so important. Video is everything. But I also post like primarily reels. So you have to like go through this in your head, like, all right, why is this happening? What can I do to kind of make changes and improvements moving forward? So after engagement, the other metric that I think is important is reach. So reach is different from engagement because it's not how many people interacted with you. It's how many people just the content was exposed to in general. And it's not the primarily most important metric to me, but I like to look at that because what we do know about the Instagram algorithm, for example, is that it will show your content more if it thinks you have a valuable thing to offer. So the more people interact with your content, the more it'll kind of like push it to the top of people's feeds. So if you can increase your reach, it means that in general, as a general takeaway, that Instagram likes your content, deems it valuable and appropriate. And that way you just have a better chance of getting engagements because people need to see it first in order for them to interact with it. The third that I think is important is follower growth. So as I said, follower growth can be considered like a vanity metric because it's more ego-driven, but it is important to pay attention to because ultimately you want more people to interact with your brand. It's a sign that you are achieving brand awareness, that you're getting your name out there. So even though I wouldn't like obsess about follower growth necessarily, I would definitely pay attention to it. And you can see that here under total followers from the overview. This shows me overall between follows and unfollows that ultimately I gained 28. This again gives you really awesome insights into demographics. Again, if you're a newer business or you are confused about who your target audience is, this shows you, okay, most people, 5% are in New York, the age range, the gender, and when they're most active. That can also give you details into when to post your content, especially like Instagram stories, to make sure that your content gets in front of them. Oh, and I forgot to show you reach. So just taking one step back, clicking on accounts reached, again, helps me see which of my content types here are getting exposed the most to people. So reels, and I'm pretty sure for all of you, if you were to look at this, reels would have the most reach for you. And then it's really interesting to see, well, what percentage of those people are not following me and which are following me. And then a breakdown of the top content, which I think is very helpful to see patterns and understand, you know, okay, oh, this one got 498 reach. Let me go see what that was and try to understand, like, what was it about that post that resonated so well and what else can I do to create more content like that. And then besides those that I just mentioned, the reach, the engagement, and the followers, if you sell online, an e-commerce site, or you have a website that you're trying to drive traffic to, Ultimately, we want people to go from Instagram or whatever social media platform and take an action. Look at your product, DM you for more information, schedule an appointment with you, go to your store, whatever that is. So we really want to see website referrals or website clicks, how people are getting to your website. So there's one way to see that in the Instagram app. You would go back to accounts reached, and all the way on the bottom of that page, it says profile activity. So it shows me that 300 people visited my profile. That means they went off the feed or off a post and went to my profile to learn more. 18 people tapped on external links, and one person tapped on the email button. And just in case to show you here, so external links would mean like the links in my bio, and then also this is the email. But in different businesses have like different setups of their profile. Now, if you don't know, Instagram does allow multiple links, which was just released like a month or two ago. And the other place you can see like if people are coming from social media to your website is in Google Analytics. And that is highly overlooked, I would say. Don't discount Google Analytics for social media data. Google Analytics is going through a transition right now. You probably have heard it's moving to Google Analytics 4 in about a month. But in the universal current Google Analytics, you would go to acquisition, overview, and then it would show you the role that social media plays to get people to your website. Of course, it is usually very hard to track Instagram's role in that journey. Can anyone guess why that might be? Why it would be hard to track how Instagram plays in getting to your website? Yes, sort of. It's like it has to do with, you can't put links in captions. Right, so like someone might see something on their feed from you. Say that, oh, those are really cool earrings. I want to learn more about them. But there's no link in a caption, so they would either have to go to your profile, go find it on your website, or if you had like a product name or something, I know what I personally would do is like open Google and try to like Google it. And that's why it's really hard to track like who's coming from Instagram to your website. It's just a fact of life. If you were to look in Google Analytics and see the sources, Instagram is usually not the first one. Facebook or Pinterest is usually the first one if you're using those platforms, because it's just easier to click on a link from those platforms and go to a website. That's really the only reason that's happening. So how do you actually pick the metrics that you want to track for your business? There are way, way, way more than what I just told you about. I told you about kind of the more like important and impactful ones. But it really comes down to knowing your goals. So I think one of the biggest mistakes with social media marketing is that people kind of just do it because they think they have to. Oh, I have to have an Instagram. So like, let me hire my Instagram intern or my 23-year-old to like manage my TikTok. And like, we checked that box. Good job. But not enough people are thinking, okay, what do we actually want to achieve with this platform? What is the next action that we want someone to take after they see our content? It's really important to think through those questions and to have goals around what you want Instagram or whatever platform to achieve. I would say this is not like a blanket statement, but in general, Instagram seems to be best suited for brand awareness because it is less likely that someone would just like see a pair of earrings for $3,000 and like immediately buy them, go to the website and buy them. more likely someone would see a pair of earrings, like it, maybe comment, say, wow, these are really cool. They might go to the website and look to see like how much they cost or like whatever the details about them. You want Instagram to just more so build that relationship. The goal is less around converting people because it's just less likely to happen. Of course, you might have some randos like buying stuff from you on Instagram, but you're just trying to move them along the customer journey. Lately, what I've been doing with my clients, we use Instagram, one, to like get people excited about stuff, but to get email addresses. I like to see Instagram as a channel to funnel people to email marketing. We've already gotten them like a little bit excited. They see something cool. Okay, they're interested. They're interacting with our content. They're probably not going to make that impulse buy today. Let's get them on the email list so that we can continue to build a relationship with them. Now we have their information. We can have a more personalized interaction with them. The people who follow you on Instagram, you don't know who they are. You have as much data as what Instagram tells you, but you don't own any of that information. So I'm like, let's get them on email as quickly as possible. And you can do that, for example, through Instagram stories. Like what I like to do is you're launching a new product or collection. Okay, hey guys, next week we're launching our new summer collection, but our email subscribers get like first look at it, or email subscribers will get like a special extra 10% off or whatever, and entice people to have a reason to join your email list. But anyway, I just went on a tangent there. But what I was meaning to say was really know your goals. What do you want to achieve? And then choose the metrics that are going to help you understand that. So if your goal is like brand awareness or just getting people interested and excited about your brand, then yeah, engagements are going to be really important because that means people are actually paying attention. They want to interact with you. They want to learn more. They are invested. They're making micro commitments with you. And then, so I mentioned at the beginning when we were looking at like the date ranges that I like to look at it at least once a month. That might depend for you. Like if social media marketing is a huge part of your marketing, if you like wildly depend on it for your business, then I would probably look at it like bi-weekly, maybe even weekly, because it's so vital. But if the social media is just a piece of the overall marketing puzzle, or it's more of a place for you to gain brand awareness, then I would just look at it once a month. But that needs to be like a recurring calendar item. It is a non-negotiable thing. You have to do it. Even if you don't have a chance to actually like analyze it and ask yourself the questions, you want to at least put down those numbers and give them a quick glance to kind of see where you are generally with the trend. Then you can come back to it later. But that's just so important because, again, of the lack of historical data. It's easy to just forget to do this for 3 months and then be like, oh crap, I don't know what happened in January because Instagram doesn't have my data. There are ways to get historical data. Has anyone ever heard of this posting tool Later? Okay, I love that one. If you are down to use like a scheduling tool and you can pay for like, I think it's their mid-tier subscription, they actually will give you data back for a year. Who knew? There are people trying to do better than Meta to help you with your marketing. So tools like Later, for example, can be really good in helping you look back at your data. So I'm going to open up for questions in just a moment, but just some takeaways. Social media analytics, it's a snooze fest, but so important. Don't actually sleep on it because it gives you data that helps you make decisions in a smart way rather than just like throwing darts at the wall or trusting your intern to be creative and figure it out and being frustrated with why you're not seeing results. It helps you get actionable strategies. And really get in touch with your target audience. Again, this is something I see so many brands struggle with, is like, who are we actually talking to? What do they like and what do they want to see from us? That can go even beyond social media marketing to email to elsewhere, but it's really a starting point for helping you understand your audience. And it can help you just identify trends if you're paying attention to like what's cool or like relevant, and then interpret that for your own brand. You can engage people better. So let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I think that's it. I wanna let you guys ask me questions that hopefully I can answer. Yeah. And you're gonna have to talk really loud because it's very noisy. Oh, he has a microphone. Okay, perfect. I'm like, you're gonna have to shout.
If customers are using containers for social media, like I use containers for Instagram or Facebook, is that data, you use that data, is that data collected?
I don't, containers?
Yeah.
You've stumped me. I don't even know what that means.
I put Instagram and Facebook on my laptop, and you can do it on your desktop too, and it doesn't allow them to track anything. It doesn't allow
Yes.
containers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does that skew the data? Do you know the percentage that people are using it so it's skewed?
I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but yes, it will affect the data. However, I wouldn't get too caught up in that. And here's why. It's the same, not just with social, but now it's the same with email marketing, because with Apple iOS, whatever number, they now obscure email open data. Google Analytics also is not 100% accurate. So I just like to look at trends, because even if the actual number is not exact, you'll see patterns of up, down, whatever. So I try not to get too caught up in like the specifics of it. Yeah.
I have another question.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of conversion of purchase from email?
From email, it's like, I mean, obviously it depends on brand, but like 0.5 to 1% would be like a really good conversion rate. Yeah.
I would think 2% would be like, wow.
Yeah.
You mentioned later, that's an app you can download?
Yeah, it's either you can use it on a desktop or it's an app,
Okay.
and it's for, you can schedule content on it. You could do like your grid or whatever, like your planning, and also analytics. And I think it's better than Meta, honestly. Yeah.
What are some ways that I can create more engaging content for Instagram for jewelers?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really going to depend. So can you give me like a 1-sentence summary who your target customer is? Like age range?
So me personally, my target audience would be businesses, like mom and pop shops.
Oh, so B2B.
Yes, exactly. So that's a little bit of an obstacle for me, because I got to create business-to-business content for mom and pop shops to buy jewelry boxes. So we do like custom printing.
Jewelry boxes. Okay. My initial thought about that is like they probably want to be educated about the product and why it's good. And okay, so your education, that's kind of boring, not very engaging. But I think it's like bringing the personality of your business to that. So how can you educate them but still try to make it kind of fun and playful so that they'll pay attention to it and not like just want to fall asleep, you know? Some of that just comes down to like personality, literally. Like not everyone's great on video or on camera. So it's about finding a person who can like represent your brand and do it in a fun way, but still teach them something about your product.
Okay, so more so a little bit heavier on the education to connect with our business.
Yeah, especially it sounds like they're probably an older demographic too. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
You don't want to be like dancing for them.
Hi. So you mentioned something about how you can get customers like emails through Instagram.
Uh-huh.
So can you just mention some ways? Is there any way we can get the emails of the followers that are following us or something like that?
Yeah, there's no way to just like scrape that information. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to download all this information. You literally have to ask them for their email. And you could either do that. Usually, like an email marketing platform will have you'll have a sign up page for someone to like put their email
On the
address.
website, right?
Either on the website or like Klaviyo, for example, will let you just create like a single page sign up form.
Or Instagram?
You could use the
I'm
link
asking
for
specifically for Instagram, like how you can get the emails. Like what are some ways and techniques that you can get them?
yeah. So you could create that like sign up page and then use the link to it in like your stories, for example. So you'd obviously have to tease something that would like get them excited to do it. So kind of what I mentioned before, like if you have a product or a collection coming, you could say like, oh, our email subscribers get the first news about this, or they'll get like a special discount, or they'll get to see something that like other people don't get to see. So thinking about things that would be interesting to them, asking them, and then sending them to like a sign up page. Or you can tell people to just DM you your email address, but then yeah, it's like a little more along with email best practices to have them actually like sign up themselves.
Other question is, what do you think is email marketing better, or like when you text people for regarding your promotions or discounts and all those things? Is that better? Like, is there any comparison?
Yeah, I don't think either one is better than the other. It's depends on your customer. I think younger people feel more comfortable with text SMS marketing than like older demographics. They might be hesitant to sign up for that. Um, but typically with my clients, we're using email and SMS like together, so they get the email and the text, because not everyone sees like every email you send, for example. But with a text, like probably they're going to see the text. So it's nice to have the two working together, or you can make SMS like a super VIP channel. Like only like my super fans are signed up for this channel, but you really have to make them feel that way, like they get some kind of extra special benefits, like some kind of discounts that no one else gets, or some kind of like first look that no one else would get. So I think there's a lot of different ways to approach it.
I didn't catch the fifth metric that you listed.
The fifth one, I think it was website referrals or clicks. So like how many people are going to your website from social media.
Okay.
Or maybe, did I just say 4? Guys, I can't count. I actually only said 4 metrics.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. You caught me in my mistake. Sorry. I'm talking about analytics and I don't know how to count. It's good. Anyone else? Well, thanks for coming. Bye.